Hello, everyone. My name's Brian. I'm from DatatoLeads.com, an Avocadata company. And today we were going to discuss how you can make $10,000 selling data online to real estate agents and real estate investors. So, a little bit about us. We went off and we did this for over 2 years. We generated in 2023 over $300,000 with this program we built, selling data and leads to various sales and business professional industries. The last video we did went over health insurance agents selling under 65 and ACA. And today, what we want to focus in on is how we are able to make money for real estate agents and real estate investors. So, if any of you haven't seen any of the videos in the past, you can go check them out. So I don't go over the same stuff over and over again. So today we want to focus on how can we provide more valuable services to real estate agents and investors. It's a very crowded market, real estate. A lot of people are real estate agents. A lot of people got into fix and flips, investing, Airbnb. So you have to be, the real estate agent has to be very different in this very crowded world of professionals. So what we want to focus on and how we did it in the real estate market is we didn't generate leads. We used data analytical skills to skip trace and enrich the property records of people who are foreclosing on their home. So, in other words, public records, UCC filings, show that if an owner is delinquent on a property, the pre-foreclosure, the auction date, who has the lien. Obviously, this information does not have the phone number or email to the person. However, what we're able to do is, if we have accurate information, and actually, let me skip forward one. All right, yeah, right here. So if we have accurate information, right, the enriched data will be good. The output will be good. But if you are giving information that's not accurate, whether it's a home address that's wrong with the wrong name as the wrong street address, that means when you skip trace it to sell back to the real estate investor or real estate agent, they will have bad information in return because this address was never correct. So let me go back a slide to what skip tracing is. So skip tracing comes from private investigators, bail bondsmen, where if you bounced on your bail, they skip traced you to get their money back. But in today's world, it's attributed to data science and using different mechanisms to match and append the various property records. So, like I was mentioning before, there's homeowner records. That's through the county tax assessments. Now, what else does the government keep track of? Everything. So, if there is a first name, last name, city, state, and you know that those pieces of information are accurate, that means what you enrich with our software or another will more likely than not continue to be accurate. So in this instance, we were saying the UCC and the pre-foreclosures. This also works with homeowner records, landowner records, property being purchased and sold, of the history, the tax records. So anything that is financially reported to the IRS is publicly indoctrinated onto the internet. So with this information, you're always able to know for 100% fact that this individual owns this property. We just need to find their phone number. And people pay a lot of money for that. So we have a bunch of different programs we built. We don't use any third parties. We did this for 3 years. Not officially with a program, but building algorithms ourselves and Python and all the boring stuff. So that's one thing that we've excelled at. And that's one thing that made it a lot easier for us to keep growing. There's always a better service to offer a higher end client. A real estate investor spends money. A pre-foreclosure and getting that signed deed for the real estate investor that they have the right to buy the property. There are various investors that'll pay $10, $20, $30,000 for that signed piece of paper. So there's two approaches to this. Either you can get the contract signed to resell to the investors if it's a pre-foreclosure or a tax deed, or you can go about offering the technical service of doing it for people who are in the market of selling that. So just like I was mentioning before, you have an address and a name. And if these two inputs are correct, the two inputs out here, the email and the phone number, 90% of the time will be correct. And one thing I also want to mention, we get the landline and the cell phone. And I would say about 70% have an up-to-date cell phone. You have the ability through us or with your client to remove anything that does not contain a cell phone. So that way you're only giving direct to the owner's phone numbers. So you guys are all here because you want to know how you can make a living getting in the data world, and not just being in the data world selling data, actually providing value. All of us have been on social media. If we're in business groups, we see every single person selling leads, data, this, that, the other. But you need to sell a solution. You need to sell an all-in-one. If you go to a real estate agent and tell them about how you can reverse lookup this, that, the other, they're not going to know. The way that works best is letting them know what you're getting. This is not a lead. This is not someone who said they want to be contacted. This is a pre-foreclosure record on the UCC filings in Miami-Dade County. And with this information, I was able to use our data science team to now find you the contact information to the person stated on that government record. It's the same thing that they're looking for, but you're really setting expectations right. This is someone who owns who's in a pre-foreclosed home. They didn't ask for help, but you are calling them because you know they need it. One of the easiest things to do in this world, I personally believe, is sell solutions that people are begging for. What do I mean by that? Foreclosures. If someone is able to get out of their property and not have too much penalty against their credit score, and someone calls you to pay off your tax deed or to buy out the loan on your property, they will be very happy in most instances. If you were calling to sell them solar, maybe not so much. And you'll hear me in my videos always talking about solar. It's a hard product. But when you are able to call somebody and know that what you have is what they need, it's a lot easier. Think of business to business, doing business lending, MCA, tax rebates. It's free money, basically. Every business is going to want to engage in conversation. That's another reason why I think skip tracing is a really, really good sell and a product, because you don't have to generate the lead. You can tell the real estate agent, listen, do you have a good list that maybe is a year old, 2 years old? But the point is, the information that was originally on it 2 years ago was accurate. It's normal if the information changes, but that's why you offer this service, because if the information originally is correct, then that would mean when you enrich it, If it matches, it will also be correct. Now, you have an argument here. If you're generating a lead and they don't have intent, that's on you. If the real estate agent buying or paying you believed they had intent and you didn't specify it. But if they're coming to you with leads that had intent in the past, and what you're doing is you're offering to correct the previous information, you're doing everything right. When they contact that person on the new phone number, 90% of the time, it's going to be the right person. You've done your job. You have provided the service that you advertised. And you didn't overpromise, you didn't underpromise, you didn't underdeliver. You gave them exactly what it was they were asking for. So when you think about real estate leads, try to take a different look. Not someone who opted in day one, I want you to get me a house to buy or sell, but being able to use a more fine-tuned approach to get the results that you're looking for with less effort. And that's really the name of this process of elimination. If you can avoid calling 1,000 people because you have a list of 100 pre-foreclosures, that is a profitable adventure. So in this instance, all I really want to get across is you can sell it for what it's worth. And I have had, along with some of my clients, they've had some people come to them they have a list of 10,000 old leads, 20,000 leads, 50,000, people who bought a home or sold a home. Doesn't matter. Point being is I can charge them 10 cents a record to enrich it. That's $5,000 in one shot to enrich that list for them. The other thing too that people may come to you for is almost like private investigative reverse lookup work. Someone might say, hey, I want you to locate the CEO of this business, the CEO of this real estate investment company who owns 100 properties. There have been some instances where people have done work one-on-one for a person like that, and they were on retainer for $5,000 a month just to do a few hours of work every week for them. Now, I want to go back to solar again. It's a lot harder to get that value out of a solar salesperson. But when you're talking about properties worth hundreds of thousands of dollars and interest worth the same amount, there's a much bigger investment that the real estate agent or investor is willing to make. So find your niche. Now, what we mean by this is, let me give you an example. We had a client that specifically only worked with landowners, right? He only did landowners because he was in the business of sending direct mail, blind offers, and postcards. So he gave us a nice list of land that was a business, registered under a business, which had a landline tied to it. And we were able to run the landlines just by themselves to locate the cell phone or email directly, first and last name, all the info we need, to the business owner with the landline tied to owning that land. Another thing that may be worthwhile is you can also figure out if people moved recently. So if you're looking for someone who maybe purchased a house in 2019 or sooner, actually we'll say 2017, they had a nice short-term gain. Maybe we're looking for people who purchased a house in a neighborhood under $40,000. Why am I doing that? More likely or not, you're going to find investors in those areas because this is the census info of that area. But the owner of the property, more likely than not, does not live in that area if they were an investor. So all this information can be appended and skip traced. So if someone gives you a list of real estate investors and you want to get an idea of all the property they ever purchased and what the assessed value of their full investment is worth, you have the ability to sell that service just like that. I'll get back into this. So that's what I mean by niche. Are you looking for maybe a younger couple that might be trying to buy a home? Are you trying to locate investors that maybe spend more money? So we can go take a look like this as an example. An investor that spends more money, maybe they bought a home, the purchase price will say 2017, and the home was over 800,000. And maybe we're looking for people above the age of 30, but under the age of 75, because we know that our real estate investor is within these criteria. So while that goes in searches, very small list, 31. Those 31 people that are in that age range. Oh, I put it as home size. That's why. Ugh. I remove that. Yeah, that's not in right. So let's do that again. Oh, here I have 407,000 properties that were just purchased in the last 5 years that were purchased for over $800,000 each. And if you had an investor that maybe wanted to start doing reverse lookups on various types of property owners to understand what they invest in, what they're worth, the history of how they buy and sell, you can do that. You're going to run into a lot of clients with a lot of different ideas. And that's the great thing about this, is there's a solution for nearly every idea. Another thing I'll tie into while we're here is if we're looking for real estate agents or real estate investors. So I use my handy dandy ChatGPT. Have a list of all NAICS codes for real estate investor, agency, agent, broker, etc. Separate the codes by number. So this is my nice little cheat code. It didn't listen to me, so I need numbers, comma, separated, not listed with name of industry. So we'll let that wrap up quickly. I don't feel like waiting. So just like that, it gets us all the industries. It's missing some. I'll just pull one more in for now. 1, 1, 2. That should work. So I want to find all the different real estate investors, agents, agencies, because that's the target of who I want to sell to or who wants to pay me to get them that info. And did a comma in wrong. So 127,000 just like this. We have 127 real estate agents, agencies, and the criteria I'm looking for. And you can see these are individual agents because there's only one employee listed, so it's a individual. And you also have the ability to build these lists for your clients. So if you have a client that didn't want to do all that searching with our white label, you can actually go out of your way and save it the way you want to. So let's do homeowners, right? We're going to look for newer homeowners, we'll call it. So we can go off and do the purchase year just like we did previously. Age range, purchase price. So just like that, we go off, we hit our search. We have 11 million. And now we can go off and let's say do a median income range. And let's do an age under 72, just for, because I want to make sure that my real estate clients have a good time finding what they need. So you can mold this list however you want, and we'll name it High Income Households USA. And then let's do phone. We'll do cell phone only. So now we just made this list. And what we're going to go do is it's saved. And if I had a client that wanted that and they didn't want to go through the hassle of doing it themselves, just like that, the list that we made for them is saved and they can start buying from you what you saved for them. And you can create a nice little subscription. You can offer the skip tracing through here. It is entirely up to you. So let's wrap this up. So just like what I'm doing with you guys, how I'm explaining to you how skip tracing works. What does it entail? What is the science behind it? What is the function behind it? A lot of people have been scammed. It's the internet. The way we can gain the trust is by educating them, not telling them this is a lead and I say it's a lead. Why is it what you say it is? That is one of the most important questions that is asked, because there's a good answer. We're not trying to pull a fast one, and neither are you. We offer what we offer so inexpensively so you can resell it and make $300,000 or $10,000 a month or any combination of that to get to that amount. So in summary, skip tracing is a fantastic service to sell. You can enrich homeowner records, you can do reverse address lookup, and it can be used for a wide range of things, for buying properties, selling properties, investing in properties, or even finding people to rent properties. So check the description. You can find a link there for a free trial, or you can go directly to avocadata.com and you can start downloading leads for free.